Hey kids, Mrs. Calhoun here. Today is a very exciting day because it's our first day to officially work with the tablets. So make sure your tablet is plugged in and hopefully it will just work without any adjustments. Then boot up Photoshop and just go to File New as we have been doing. And we're going to use this time to simply play with brushes and try a few different things. Make a new custom file that's fairly large. I'm going to say 9 inches. Oops, go back to 9 inches by 9 inches. Resolution 180. Doesn't have to be huge. RGB is fine. Create. And have your screen somewhat small so you can pull up the brush workshop brush worksheet that you'll see on the link that has the same the assignment that has the link to this video. You'll see the brush worksheet. It's going to tell you just kind of have you go through different options with the brushes so you know what's there and what they do. So we're going to do brush number 1. I'm going to make this a little small, put it to the side so I can see it as I work, big enough that I can read it. Okay. All right, brush number 1. Your brush palette is over here on the right side. The way I have this kind of small, it kind of covers up part of the screen, so a little annoying. Get bigger. Okay. I'll scooch this over some more. I really want to see everything. Okay. Maybe if I zoom in a bit more. So zooming with the tablet shortcut is press down the Z key, and if you go to the left, things get smaller. If you shift to the right, they get bigger. It zooms in. It's really, you're going to use this constantly. So wherever you touch, it's going to zoom into that area. Zooming out. Practice that a little bit. So press down Z to the right and to the left. There are different default shortcuts or different default settings for the Wacom tablets that you can change. If you go down to your start menu on the bottom left, you should see Wacom tablet properties. You can click on that and change things if you want. If you go to it, you'll see. I'm scared to go to it because I always mess something up and I just pretty much keep it on the default settings, but you'll see tip feel. You can change the feel of the tip. Tilt sensitivity, I just have it on normal. I like to have the right click be this bottom button because I'm always needing to right click because it brings up all those options like you would on your mouse. So the bottom button on your little pen has the default setting. It's pretty nice. Double click, I don't use that very much, but that's the top part of the button. And you can calibrate it. If it seems a little off to you, you can go here and calibrate. If you want to make the tip not erase, you can have it do something else. You can have it go clicks, keyboard. There's a bunch of different stuff. So you can customize your own. I'm just not gonna do that. I'll make sure I'm actually, okay, it's fine. All right, so let's just work on our brushes here. Brushes over here, there aren't very many brushes on Adobe Photoshop CC, but I have a folder on our Google Drive, our class folder, full of more brushes, which I will show you later. But for now, you need to familiarize yourself with the brushes that are just in Photoshop. And they're not bad. You can get away with just only using these for a lot of things. So general brushes, the default setting, I put it on 50%. I'll just go full setting right now. Kind of, I don't like that color. Let's try red so you can really see it. It's a fuzzy brush. It's super fuzzy. That's full opacity. I'm going to try 50% opacity. So when you have opacity, you can overlap and it changes. Sometimes this is really, really good. I find this good for when I'm adding texture to surfaces. Not so good when I want to draw something straight because it depends on what you're going for. But so anyway, that's with 50% opacity. Keep this document with everything that you do on it because you need to save it and you'll turn it in for your assignment for today. So overlapping those half transparent strokes with and without pressure sensitivity. Here's the pressure sensitivity button up at the top. Very, very important. Mine is on right now. So when I press harder, it gets thicker. I really don't. I'm not going to have this be my main brush. I just do not like it. So I'm going to erase everything that I've done so far. Oops. See, my eraser went to blue because my bottom color was blue. So I need to make it that color, white. Erase. I'm using the tip of my pen. Okay. The other side of my pen. Okay. Going to hard round. I'm just choose one brush maybe to start and try different things. Okay. Opacity 50%. Opacity full. No, I'm not on hard round yet. Oops. Erase that. This is going to be my brush that I do. All right. There it is. That's at 100%. 50%. You can see the difference. Without pressure sensitivity. So pressing really light and hard. See the difference? Now clicking that off doesn't change no matter how hard I press. Now, if I go to brush presets, that's called brush settings actually on here. You'll see all these different options. Some of the brushes are not going to change very much with these little, what are they called? Like variables, I guess. Let's try shape dynamics and see what happens. Not a lot. I'll have my pressure sensitivity. Ooh, that might change something. Nope. So there's some complex coding that goes on behind these brushes, and some of them will respond a lot to the changes. Some will not. Scattering, nope. These will work more for your texture brushes. Color dynamics. Okay. Nothing's really happening. This is a very basic brush. So I'm actually going to go down and find a brush that might be a bit more changeable. Let's try dry media brushes. Ultimate pencil. Hard. Let's maybe try chunky charcoal. So this one has like a very textured look. So if I go to brush settings, take off scattering. Ooh, I already saw a difference on the little. Seems a little bit less dense. It's less dense. I'm not sure exactly how that, like why, but anyway, so that did change something. I'll take it off again and take off texture too. Ooh, so that really changed it. Color dynamics. I am not sure at all what this is supposed to do. Doesn't seem to do much. I should probably check what that is for. Maybe if you have like two different colors on or some kind of a gradient thing. Honestly, I do not know. Wet edges. That's interesting. That completely changes it. It almost feels more like painterly. And the opacity is 100%, but it is not 100% opaque. So try that on a few different brushes and see what happens. And you can try different combos here too. I'll take color dynamics off. I'll take smoothing off. Take shape dynamics off. Ooh, that's almost like just a brush stroke. So I'm on the same brush this whole time and I'm getting all these different results depending on what I do. All right. I'm going to do a new layer. I don't want to just completely get rid of what I just did. But it's a little bit too I'm going to start a whole new file. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do so I don't have to get too cluttered there. I have the same size, create. Okay, zoom in with my Z key. Zoom in, okay. Let's try a completely different brush here. We're still on the Photoshop default brushes. I really liked that chunky charcoal. I think I'm going to try this pencil. And I'll go bigger with it because the default setting is really small. You can change your brush settings. You can save them if you really want to try something different. Shape dynamics, you can see when I click it, really changes the shape. That's weird. I don't know. I think the pencil is probably best small. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Transfer, smoothing, protect texture. Let's try all kinds of stuff here. I just think it's going to look better as I'm going to put the pressure on. Ooh, the flow is really low. Let's increase the flow. That'll make a difference too. Yeah, probably looks better small. Some brushes look really good small. You know, you want that texture look, but if you look at it up close, it's kind of a weird, unnatural look. So maybe more of an outliner. Brushes, wet media brushes. So, yeah, okay. There's some really interesting ones here. If you try changing up, let's do a different color here. I'm gonna do a purplish color over, make it bigger. Now, if you go down to this interesting special effects brushes, it actually will kind of mix. Oops, that's not really what I was thinking it would do. Those are brushes I actually made. Oh, no wonder. Those are my brushes. Ignore that. So spatter brushes, concept brushes. Looks like some different patterns. There's some interesting little spatters, as it says. Screen tones. Well, so this one, the wet media brush, so like the oils, if you go over two different colors, you might be able to kind of see on here. It's going to blend them. And if you go over a mostly white, it's just going to look a little white. Just like if you were doing a wet, smushy oil painting. Here's another wet blender. Whoa, that's a fun one. Kind of unpredictable what it's going to do. I don't know about that. Anyway, I'm completely rambling here. The point is, I want you to play around with all these different settings and find some brushes you really like and just doodle away today for a while. Honestly, I think you should probably go through every single brush, at least briefly. And when you find ones you like, then go to the brush settings and pay attention to what's happening in this little box. Then draw with it a little bit with different settings and just see what interesting things you come up with. Especially pay attention to, you know, pressure sensitivity being on or off. Look how different that is. I love having the pressure sensitivity on. It's so fun to draw with. So, okay, I think that's all for now.